To start with, I was a very, very seemingly confident person. You would never ever look at me and think that I was going through such a thing, like, a low self-esteem. That really made me get to know that I had a problem and I needed to resolve it as soon as possible. I used to battle a lot with low self-esteem and lack of self-confidence. And this really limited me in a lot of aspects of my life. I found myself not being able to do most of the things I love to do and not being able to explore all the possibilities that God bestowed upon me. And this really went a long way to really weigh me down for a long time. Not until I discovered myself and I discovered my potentials and I got to understand that I am worth it. And so I began to put in every effort to see that worth inside of me. I am Precious. Follow me and all the support we have received so far from you guys. I really do appreciate it a lot. So diving into what I just said earlier, talking about my inability to discover my inner potentials and the numerous things that I could do, like this really limited my life and it really got me to a point where I was always feeling like every other person is better than me. My life. So, to start with, I was a very, very seemingly confident person. You would never ever look at me and think that I was going through such a thing, like, a low self-esteem. And I really think that some people who know me, like, watching this video, they'll be like, what? Because like I said in my last video, the video I did last week about myself, I started doing one or two things in the church while I was really young. And this made me really feel like or look like I was so confident on the outside. But believe you me, self-confidence sometimes is not what you see on the outside. It births from inside you. So possibly you can be exercising, a lot of activities and doing some stuff, in front of people, and then you're always like, okay, everybody would see you like that person that is so okay, but inside of you there is something that is not right. And believe you me, you would always notice it. You would know, because no one knows you the way you know yourself. Okay, so at what point did I discover this? I would say that I discovered it while I was still young, just that I didn't know what the name of the thing is. Like, I just knew there was something off about myself, but I didn't know what exactly it was. Funny, right? I noticed that anytime that I was asked to do something, I would always feel like, no, I'm not the best person to do this. I am not the best person to do this. It can be any other person except me. It can be any other person except me. I always felt like I should be behind. It appeared like humility, but it wasn't. It wasn't. So mind you, you could be suffering from low self-esteem, but you would think it's humility. My dear, check well. It may not be nothing near humility. It may just be low self-esteem. You feel like every other person is better than you. And it's not something of a one-time thing. It's something that happens over and over and over again. Like anytime you're given an opportunity to do something, you always feel like pushing it to another person that you feel is better than you. And then another thing was like when I was always on my own, I discovered that there were things I discovered about myself that I was so scared to do it outside because I felt like it's not good enough. Like I just knew this thing that I am not good enough. I am not enough. I am not, every other person is just the better option except me. So these are some of the things I noticed about myself. And sometimes I would find it so difficult to say no to someone. And honestly, that is a big sign of low self-esteem. If you're someone that you don't have a judgment of your own, you don't have decision of your own, you always feel like anything anybody says, you can go with it at all times, even if it discomforts you, my dear, you need to check yourself. Sorry to say that. Because it may appear like you're being humble and nice and and obedient, but believe you me, it's not. You're just suffering from low self-esteem because you feel like doing that will make you reach the standards of others. That's the feeling you want to get, and it's not good. It's not. You should be able to say no as an individual to some things, especially if they don't favor you. If people are talking, I always feel like I don't have any contributions to give. I don't have anything to say to add. I always feel like my contribution is nothing. Every other person has said the right thing except me. Like, when people appreciate me, I'm always like, oh my God, okay. In my mind, I'm like, I beg, stop lying to me, I just feel like they are overrating me, And because I did a lot of stuff, like in public, like I said in my last video, I translated in church, and people would appreciate and say a lot of things like you do it so well. And for me, somewhere in my mind, I did take that as like really, really like compliment. I always felt like maybe they are just flattering me. They are overrating me. I'm not that good. Yeah, that really made me get to know that I had a problem and I needed to resolve it as soon as possible. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Some of the practical steps I took to resolve this. The very first thing I did was to acknowledge that I had a problem. Yeah, I acknowledged that there was something I needed to handle about myself. And knowing fully well that I'm someone filled with so much potentials, I had a lot to do with my life and that I needed to get out there, So I felt like I needed to work on this as soon as possible because this would only limit me the more. So I made up my mind to work on it. That was the very first step I took. Yeah. So when I did that, I told myself that I needed to get out of this. I first of all began to look into my circle, the people who were promoting this, people who were causing me to, not feel better about myself even the more. Yeah, people who always talk down on me, and people who always look down on me. I tried to bring boundaries a little bit, and then I started working on myself, because I felt that if I work on myself being in that same circle, then I wouldn't strive. Anytime I would try to go out of that circle, then I'll find myself coming back. And sometimes they wouldn't do this intentionally. Some people do it unintentionally, and it doesn't matter. It didn't matter to me whether you did it intentionally or unintentionally. I just knew that I needed to get out of this, because I was at the point where I needed to take a bold step about my life, and I needed to get rid of that. Yes. And so when I got to that point, I was like, okay, I felt the freedom, just to be in myself. And of course, I also listened to messages. I listened to pastors who talk about healing from inside, and this really, really helped me. And yes, I also prayed about it. I began gaining back my self-confidence. I began gaining back my self-worth. I began seeing myself in the light of God's word. Yes, I began seeing those abilities God has embedded inside of me. And I feel like I have just begun to explore some of them. And the word awaits the manifestation of the children of God. Believe you me. This is just the beginning. The best is yet to come. Oh my, oh my. You have listened to everything I've said. And you getting to this end means you have listened and you have heard something that can help you. But to add to that, I would like to say that build your confidence. Build it. Because your lack of self-confidence can cost you even much more than you can ever think. It can make you get into the wrong circle. It can bring you to a state of depression, because you feel like there is nothing good about me, there is nothing good that can come out of me, there is nothing good that can ever be of me, whereas there are a lot of things inside of you that you can explore. Believe you me. And God has just started with you. He hasn't gotten to the peak yet. Yes, he hasn't. So don't allow low self-esteem limit what God can do in your life, because that's what he can do. Don't allow people who don't value their connection with you ruin your destiny with their words. Their words that keep breaking you. Their words that keep ruining your peace of mind. Their words that keep bringing you down. I am someone that I perfectly, by God's grace, understand the place of relationships in our lives. Everyone is important. We all need people in our lives, because we cannot do it on our own. But then, please, don't allow anyone in your circle that is there to ruin your self-esteem. Someone who is there to make you feel less of yourself. You're thin, slim, tall, dark, fair, short. short, whatever. You have a rough face, whatever. God created you that way. You're beautiful, you're handsome, you're kind, you're a nice person. I mean, I can look at myself in the mirror now and say beautiful words. Before, I couldn't do that. I can look at myself right now and say, Precious, you're such a beautiful girl. Precious, you're so intelligent, you're so smart. You owe yourself that assignment to look yourself in the mirror every single day and say those words of affirmation. It will help build you up. It will help build your confidence. And bet you, when you stand on the stage, you won't believe how you will perform. Because she can be all that you are in Christ, but if you don't build this aspect of you, it will not manifest to the world. Thank you for stopping by the channel today again. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Press the notification bell to get notified each time we upload new videos. And also please share our content on your Instagrams, your TikToks, wherever you can share it. It could bless someone somewhere. We don't know. Thank you again and see you in our next video. I remain your own Precious Nkongo. See you next time. Bye bye.